This video will run through all the weekly things you could be doing within the War Within if you want to make sure you're doing everything possible and not falling behind in any aspects. The first thing we're going to talk about is the weekly zone events that take place for each of the factions. So the first one will be in the Isle of Dawn. It'll be the theatre troupe. You'll head out there on the hour every hour. You'll take part in the theatre event. It doesn't take very much to get the quest done. Once the quest is done, you'll get some reputation and also a box which will have a restored key, which we'll talk about later, and also the chance at gear, which is currently adventure track, but once the season begins, all the loot from these things will upgrade to veteran gear, so worth keeping in mind. The next zone is going to be Ringing Deeps, and this zone will have two things for us to do. First of all, you'll head over to the Kobold. You'll pick up his two quests. One of them will be to do the Awakening Machine, so you'll go into that. It'll just be to kill waves of mobs, and it's not too difficult. You shouldn't have too much difficulty getting the 20th wave done, depending on your class and spec. Once you get kicked out of that, if you filled up all 20, these will have a bit of looting like Valor Stones, and then it'll also have reputation for you, and then you hand in the quest, you'll get a box. And then the other quest is going to be to loot these dirt piles that you'll find across all 4 zones, and once you hand that in, you'll get reputation and a box as well. And these dirt piles are worth looting anyway, because one, they give a little bit of like materials and stuff that you can sell. 2, if you've got professions, you'll get your weekly profession treasures, which we'll talk about later. And 3, additional blobs of wax you get, you can turn into this NPC for Valor Stones. So it's not going to be a lot, but while you're just generally playing, it is going to be a little bit of a source of Valor Stones. The next zone will be Hallowfall, and theirs will be Spreading the Light, and there's going to be kind of 3 things for us to do here. First of all, you'll have the main objective, which is to light 3 of these lesser key flames. You'll do that by looting the crystals from the mobs nearby or from the treasures, and then once you light them, a little guy will come running along with a weekly quest for you. You'll do that quest, you'll get some reputation sometimes, you'll get a purple bag. That bag has a chance of having a mount in it as well, so if you're interested in mounts, definitely worth doing those. There's going to be, I think, 8 of them in the area for you to do, or 7, somewhere around that number. So you want to be lighting as many key flames as possible, the lesser ones at least, to get those quests done. And then the bigger key flames, once one of those is lit, you'll have a little event that happens in the area. So it might be like defend the key flame or kill some things, and once that's done, you'll get another one of those bags, a little bit of resonance crystals, all that kind of stuff. And these are all only able to be done once per week per character, but the main rewards we're after here are going to be from that initial thing of lighting the 4 key flames. And then the next zone is going to be Ashkahet, and their thing is going to be just to pick one of the 3 factions. It doesn't really matter too much which one you pick. You're going to be able to get them all up eventually anyway, although I wouldn't recommend pushing one all the way to max too fast, because if you do, you're going to waste the kind of splash reputation that you're going to get from various tasks. So I'd get one to like 7 of 9 and then move to the others, and then that one will slowly get up while you build the other ones up as well. Personally, I went with the Vizier because it does give more kind of kedge in the long run, although by the time I get those rewards from it, it's probably going to be useless, but just in case, I do need the kedge, so I went with the Vizier. And if you're curious why you might need kedge, this is mainly for profession stuff. I'm going to have a lot of characters doing different professions, and you need kedge to be able to pick up the recipes and also these one-time profession skill knowledge books as well. So if you're interested in pushing your professions and you have multiple characters, then you'll want to be getting on the kedge grind too. The next thing to talk about is the weekly dungeon quest. You'll be able to pick this up in Don Ogle. It'll be just to do one of the various dungeons. You can typically do these with followers as well. You'll go in, you'll clear the dungeon, and then you'll hand it in. You'll be able to pick one faction of your choice to give 1.5k reputation with. You won't get it with all of them. So this is going to be based on your personal goals. You can kind of be funneling all the reputation into one faction to try and get it as high as possible. That's up to you if you want to kind of push for renown 12 for the skill knowledge books, or you've got some other goal that you want. Either way, pick a faction that you want to push up and give that reputation to it. Now, once you've done this quest on your main, it also becomes a kind of quest still available for your alts, and it'll now give it around 115 kedge and 220 resonance crystals, I believe. So it's not great, but if you're going to be doing dungeons on your alts anyway, you might as well pick these up, because then you're just going to be getting a little bit more currency too. And resonance crystals is another currency very similar to Dragon Isle supplies, but a little bit more scarce, and you're going to be able to use these at the vendors for things like the 584 kind of epic gear that you'll unlock as a renown reward, stuff like that, mounts down the line as well. So resonance is going to be quite useful for certain players. And another thing to note, if you want to really min-max your reputation, if you're watching this video the week it came out, then the Dark Moon Fair will be happening on the upcoming Sunday, so you could be making use of that 10% reputation boost. You could do the quest but don't hand it in, get your 10% rep, then hand it in. And it's the same with doing all like the side quests and stuff. If you're trying to really push your renown, then you could wait for the Dark Moon Fair buff and then knock all that stuff out, and you're just going to be getting a little advantage. Obviously 10% isn't huge, but it is going to give you some kind of advantage if you are looking to min-max. The next thing up is going to be the World Soul quest. So this is going to be another weekly quest. You'll pick it up in Don Ogle, and it'll be to do one of 4 tasks. For example, it could be to clear a dungeon as one of them, it could be to do the Awakening Machine as another, it could be to go and do X amount of world quests. It's basically going to be stuff you're going to do anyway, so just pick one which sounds like, you know, feels more appealing to you or stuff you're more likely to do. Pick that up, do the quest, and then hand it in and you'll get another box. It'll give us a chance at gear, the restored coffee key, all that kind of stuff. And then next up, you've got world quests that'll be popping up every day or two, and you could also combine this with a contract, although they're quite expensive on the auction house right now, but depending on the quality of contract you pick, it'll give you either 5, 10, or 15 reputation with a faction of your choice, but you'll be locked into that faction for your whole account for the week. So once again, you'd be picking kind of one faction that you want to be funneling all the rep towards, and then you'd be using that contract with that faction, and you get a little bit of bonus rep for doing the world quests. And then there's also going to be 2 special assignments. These are going to be kind of like padlocked world quests. So once you complete some world quests in the zone, this special assignment will then unlock. You'll go and do it. It'll be kind of like a harder world quest with elite mobs typically. You'll get that done. You'll get a box with some reputation, and you'll also get a restored coffer key from opening the box, and then a chance of a piece of gear as well. Next up is going to be the weekly reputation rares. So there's going to be a ton of rares throughout the zones. These reset daily, meaning you can kill them every day for loot, but you only get reputation once per week. So if you want to once again maximize your reputation, you'd be going zone to zone, knocking out all of these rares as you play, and that'll give you a good chunk of reputation too for doing this. And some of these rares have quite a long respawn, so you might not catch them all, so I definitely wouldn't kind of try and focus all of them out instantly. I'd just be kind of going through the week and trying to find them as you play, but obviously towards the end of the week then you are going to have to start kind of tunneling to get them all done. And while I've been talking, I will have a map up showing you the various locations. Some people do get confused though, because there are 2 types of rares. There's going to be leveling rares, which are like one-time kill ever. You'll kill it, you'll get some reputation, you'll get a 5/5/4 piece if you max level, and then that's it. You'll never be able to kill that rare for loot again on that character at least. But there's going to be the max level rares, and these reset daily and then once again weekly for the reputation, and you'll be able to kill them over and over again. So just make sure you're kind of aware of the different types of rares. The next thing I wanted to touch on was Bountiful Delves. So while doing most of the content I've just talked about, you would have been getting those restored coffer keys, and those are used in Bountiful Delves, which you can tell by like the delve icon being a little bit different. It'll be like glowy, and once you do that delve, you'll get a special chest at the end that you can use your restored coffer key on, and then that will give you kind of like bonus loot and stuff. However, it's not really worth using those currently because we're capped at delve 3, and the gear that you get from the restored coffer key is based on the delve level. So we really want to be saving those until we can access higher level delves. But Bountiful Delves will also provide 1,000 reputation towards the faction of the zone that the delve is in. So if you did one in Isle of Dawn, you'd get reputation for the Council of Dawn Ogal. And we're not too sure how many of these different delves that you can do per week to get reputation. Some people are saying you can do all 4 zones. Some people are saying they only got rep from 2. Some people are saying they got from 3. Either way though, it could be worth doing the Bountiful Delves on your alts that you don't really care about the gear for, and that way you're not missing out on the reputation. The next thing is capping out on your weathered crests each week. So going around the zones, doing various objectives and flying through these orbs as well, will be giving you these weathered crests. And these we can actually use to create 590 crafted gear, which is going to be better than most of the gear we can currently obtain. So if you want to get yourself kind of decked out, ready for M+ and all that stuff, then you would be wanting to look towards doing this. And it's a little bit more efficient than upgrading your gear. So definitely would recommend looking towards creating the crafted gear first, and then upgrading any pieces that you really want to kind of keep hold of, like really good trinkets and stuff. The next thing to talk about is your weekly profession treasures. So these are going to work differently depending on which kind of professions you have. For example, some will get 1 point, some will get 2, some will get theirs from just gathering, for example, herbers and miners. Some will get them from disenchanting things. Obviously, enchanters will get some from disenchanting things. So it will depend on your professions, but I'll also have a week aura link down below that will kind of give you an overall list of all the different profession knowledge sources you're missing, including the weekly sources as well, which will help you get all your profession knowledge for the week. But for the treasures, you simply just go around the zones, looting these dirt piles until you get your profession knowledge for the week. The next thing to talk about is the treaties, and these aren't that kind of important. It's only going to be 1 skill point per week from this, but if you're really trying to kind of maximize yourself, then you're going to want to do everything you can. And all you need to do for these is work order a scribe to make a treaty for your professions. You'll get it made, you'll use it, and you'll get 1 skill point per week from this. Next up will be your NPC work orders. So if your skill is high enough with your profession, you should see these starting to pop up. You'll check the kind of work orders board and there'll be a new tab for these NPC work orders. You'll click on it and you'll see which ones you can do, but these are going to give you skill points. They're going to give you the artisan's currency. So there's going to be some pretty useful stuff from this, but obviously you need to work out whether the work order is doable for you and if it's going to be worth the cost. However, before you do any of the NPC work orders, make sure you've done your quest to unlock your weekly work order quest, because the NPC work orders do count towards this as well. So you're going to head to this building here, you'll head inside, you'll have a kind of normal quest to do. It'll be to speak to an NPC, you'll hand this in, you'll be able to pick a bag of loot, and then once you're done, you'll be sent to your profession NPCs, you'll go and speak to them, you'll do those quests, and then if you head back again to that building we were just in, now your weekly quest should pop up, and you can pick those up and start working on work orders. And then if any pop up, you can be doing the public work orders as well for your kind of daily cap, as obviously these are going to be a little bit difficult to pick up, but it could be for something really useful that you can craft that will give you skill points, allowing you to get some skill points without having to use any gold. So, you know, that's a big win. So definitely be checking out for those too. And that's it for the core of the things. There are some mounts you could be working towards daily and weekly as well that I'll quickly run through. But for the most part, the kind of core of like gearing and renown progression and stuff is going to be finished there. So in terms of daily stuff you could be doing throughout the week, you could be fighting Beladar's spawn each day. And this is going to spawn every 3 hours when the zone goes purple. And this happens 1 hour after daily reset and then 3 hours after that from there on out. And Beladar's spawn is going to have a ton of different spots throughout the zone. So you just need to kind of join a group. I definitely recommend joining a raid group because people normally wait, and then you'll fly over to wherever people find it, kill it, get your daily kill on that. And you can do that once per day per character. And there's going to be the lurker from the deeps as well, works kind of similar. You need to click these 5 levers throughout the zone. The boss will spawn or the rare will spawn, and you can kill that once per day as well per character for a chance at the mount too. Next up, you'll have the awakening machine that I was talking about earlier. If you get a character to wave 20, loot the boxes at the end, there'll be a chance of the defense unit 111 in there, and you can do this on your alts too. And then also, like I was talking about earlier as well, the spreading the light event. If you do the lesser keyflame quests and also the larger keyflame events, you'll get those purple bags. And inside the purple bags can be the Dauntless Imperial Lynx mount. And then finally, each Saturday, you'll have the weekly fishing tournament that takes place in Hallerfall if you want to work towards Ka, Legend of the Deep. And that's going to be everything you could be kind of working towards weekly. So hopefully this video gives you a good to-do list on what you could be doing. And look out for more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.